The twin suns of the planet Aurealis burned above the training grounds, their orange and blue light blending into a harsh, surreal sky. Dust swirled around the stone arena where warriors tested their strength. The air shimmered with heat, and the voices of alien spectators rose like a storm. Among them was Karel, a girl of the Clerothi species, a race known for their jagged bone ridges, dark carapace skin, and sharp insectoid features. To outsiders they were terrifying. Even among themselves, beauty was measured by harsh lines and flawless symmetry of chitin plates. Karel had neither. Her carapace was uneven, with ridges that looked broken in places, the mark of a childhood illness. Her lower mandibles were slightly crooked, her left eye larger than her right. She kept her hood drawn low, hiding her face whenever possible. All her life, she had been told in whispers and sneers that she was malformed, unworthy, ugly. And Karel believed them. But today, as fate had it, she found herself standing in the path of something unexpected. The Aurealis Arena wasn't only home to Clerothi contests. Since humanity's arrival into galactic society, humans had been permitted to prove themselves in exhibitions. The alien crowds gathered with a mix of curiosity and disdain whenever a human entered. And among those humans was Daniel Hayes, a soldier who had fought in the border wars and now carried himself with the calm strength of someone who had seen too much but still smiled anyway. Karel had noticed him before from a distance. Unlike the other aliens, Daniel didn't stare at her in disgust. He didn't look at her at all, really, just treated her like anyone else. It was strange, comforting but strange. Today, though, she was standing in his way, clutching a stack of training blades for the warriors. One slipped from her grasp, clattering loudly onto the stone. The crowd jeered. Karel froze, her mandibles clicking nervously. She stooped to grab the blade, but Daniel reached it first. His hand brushed hers lightly as he picked it up. "Here," he said simply, offering it back. Karel ducked her head, not meeting his gaze. Thank you," she whispered, ashamed of her voice that rasped instead of sang. And then he said it. "You have beautiful eyes." The world stopped. Karel's entire body stiffened. Her heart's pounding so hard she thought her chest might crack. Her eyes, her mismatched, uneven eyes that others mocked her for? Beautiful. She looked up in shock, certain he was mocking her. But Daniel wasn't smirking. He wasn't laughing. He was smiling gently, the way humans did, as if he had said something ordinary and true. Karel stumbled back a step, nearly dropping the rest of the blades. Her breath hitched, her mandibles trembling. She could not speak. For the first time in her life, she didn't know how. The middle shattered beliefs. 4 days afterward, Karel couldn't stop hearing his words. Beautiful eyes. It replayed in her head during chores, during training drills, even in her dreams. She didn't believe it, of course. How could she? But she wanted to. Desperately. She began stealing glances at Daniel whenever she saw him in the compound. He was different from other warriors. Where Clerothi boasted loudly of kills and scars, Daniel listened more than he spoke. He laughed easily, trained hard, and treated even the weakest recruits with patience. One evening, Karel found herself alone near the river that cut through the alien settlement. She came there often to hide from the stares of her own people. The reflection in the water always mocked her. Crooked mandibles, uneven ridges, a face only worthy of disgust. "You're out here a lot," a voice said. Karel jerked her head up. Daniel stood on the rocks nearby, hands in his pockets. Her voice rasped. "I like the quiet." He nodded, stepping closer, careful not to crowd her. "Same here." The stars look better away from the noise. For a long time they just sat, the river murmuring between them. Carell kept glancing at him, wondering if he truly meant what he'd said before. Finally, unable to hold it back, she whispered, Why did you say that?" Daniel tilted his head. "Say what?" "That my eyes were beautiful." The last word felt foreign, like she had no right to it. Daniel smiled faintly, as if surprised she remembered. "Because they are." Her mandibles clicked nervously. "No, they are uneven. Well, ugly." He shook his head. "Not to me. They catch the light differently, like two gems that don't match but make a set anyway. You look at the world like it's both dangerous and worth saving at the same time. That's beautiful." Carell froze again, her heart's twisting. No one had ever spoken to her like this. No one had seen her like this. That night, when she looked in the river's reflection, for the first time she tried, just tried to see what he saw. The rising conflict. But beauty was not the only thing Carell doubted. Her people disdained humans. To them, humans were fragile, soft creatures pretending at strength. If anyone learned she was even speaking with Daniel, she would be ridiculed further. Yet she couldn't stay away. Days turned into weeks. She and Daniel met by the river, in the training fields, sometimes even in the markets. He told her stories of Earth. Blue skies, vast oceans, flowers of every color. She told him, shyly at first, about her people's traditions, the songs they sang before war, the myths of their ancestors. Daniel never looked at her with disgust. He laughed when she made a dry joke. He listened when she spoke, no matter how haltingly. He called her Carell as if her name was something precious. And slowly, she began to believe she was more than her flaws. But whispers grew. Other Clerothi noticed. One evening, as Carell carried supplies, 3 warriors cornered her in an alley. "You shame us," one hissed, his carapace gleaming. "The malformed one dares walk beside a human. Do you hope he pities you enough to mate?" They shoved her, jeering. For a moment, Carell thought they might kill her. Then Daniel appeared, stepping between them and her. His voice was calm, but steel lay beneath it. "Back off." The Clerothi laughed. "You defend her. She is worthless." Daniel didn't flinch. "Not to me." The warriors snarled but left, muttering. Carell, trembling, stared at him. "You shouldn't have," she began. "Yes, I should," he interrupted gently. "No one gets to tell you you're worthless. No one." Tears burned her mismatched eyes. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to so badly. The ending, a new reflection. The true test came during the annual trials of fire, where young warriors proved themselves before the elders. Carell had not intended to compete. She feared the humiliation, but one of the bullies mocked her openly. "She'll never stand in the circle. She knows she is too ugly, too weak." Something inside her snapped. Carell entered the trials. The arena roared with disbelief. She fought clumsily at first, nerves shaking her limbs, but then she heard a voice in the crowd. "You can do this, Carell." Daniel. His faith steadied her. Blow after blow she endured, her mismatched body finding a rhythm. She wasn't graceful, but she was fierce. She wasn't flawless, but she was unyielding. And though she did not win the final match, she stood tall at the end, unbroken. The crowd fell silent, forced to acknowledge her strength. Later by the river she sat with Daniel again. The water reflected her face, uneven as ever. But tonight she did not flinch from it.